welcome back to CBS Soap Dish Recap, where we recap everything CBS soaps, both the Young and the Restless and the Bold and the Beautiful. And this is your Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. And yeah, Imani offers some horrible advice in this episode. Summer and Kyle are wondering if they made the right decision, and also Billy talks about Summer becoming collateral damage in this whole scheme that Phyllis has with Ashley and Nikki. So before we unpack all of this, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and please don't forget to like and share. So we're over at the ranch, and Abby arrives looking for Victoria, but she ends up in this whole conversation with Nikki instead. Now, once the conversation turns to Chance dragging out the Ashland Locke investigation, this is where we see Nikki gets a little bit strategic and passive aggressive by basically trying to suggest to Abby that it'll be better off for everyone if Chance just backed off. And of course, knowing that Abby is a Newman, she can clearly see through what's going on, that there's obviously something more than meets the eye with this situation, because why would she ask him to back off, and why is she so coy about it? So now we're over at Chancellor Winters, where Elena shows up and kind of questioned Devon about whether their history really might be playing a role in this tension that Nate has with Devon. Now, we all know what the issue is. There's this whole power struggle, and whether or not he, feels that Nate is in this a little bit too soon. He needs a mentor, somebody to hold his hand. However, we hear Devon assuring Elena that that's not the case, but he still wonder if it was a mistake to even hire him in the first place. And of course, Elena was like, look, he's not some college guy fresh out of college. This guy has ran an entire surgical staff, so get it together. So now we're at Crimson Light's patio. Imani, which I was shocked to see because I thought she would be in Virginia with her sister and her mom, happens to bump into Nate. And note that, her flight doesn't go out until later that night. Okay. Well, since Imani, wants a distraction, you can find anything to distract you, even on your cell phone. She urges Nate to open up about his latest work issues. Now, Nate admits that Devon wants to give him a mentor. So Imani tends to think that this is absolutely outrageous, and Nate hasn't even had a chance to prove himself. Then we hear Imani advise Nate to do something big and bold to demand some attention and get his respect. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. It's going to blow up in his face, and it's creating tension between him and his family. So, yeah, horrible advice to say the least. So now we're over at the GCAC rooftop. Tessa is still on vocal rest as she hangs out with her wife Mariah, and she meets up with Kyle. So there's this whole private moment after Mariah lied to Tessa to go pick up the drinks, where she urges Kyle to hire Tessa as a new Marchetti model since she's feeling down about her stalled music career. Now, Kyle, of course he wants to run it by Summer first, but Mariah will urge him not to say anything unless it's a done deal. Yeah, okay. Well, my thoughts is, I think it's an okay idea. I just don't know if this is something that she would want to do. I think you need to talk to Tessa. Tessa walks back over. She grows suspicious of what Mariah and Kyle are hiding. And as much as, they're trying to play it off, you can tell that she's not buying it. She knows that there's some conversation to be had and not them just talking about the weather. And I don't blame her. If this is about me, you need to tell me what's going on. And offering that job, I think she should have talked to Tessa first. So now we're back at the coffee house again. Diane sachets in and run into Summer. And of course, you can tell Summer is trying to avoid her because Summer saw her coming in first. Now, she promises that this whole thing with her and Phyllis and the job situation is not a problem and won't be a problem. After Diane starts acting like Phyllis just might forgive her, not in a million years, and form a bond. Yeah, okay. Summer will think that her mother-in-law is laying it on pretty thick, and she sure is. Summer also insists that, total forgiveness is also a tall order for Jack as well. And will warn Diane, hey, I'm just as protective as, over him as I am over Kyle, so don't try to manipulate him either. And if Diane does try to pull anything with Jack, Summer says that she is going to have to contend with her. So now we're over at Society. We left off yesterday with Billy trying to convince Jack that it's a failure to hire Adam and how horrible of an idea that would be. And honestly, I'm like, kettle, what is it? Calling the kettle this, that, and the third or whatever. Glass houses, rocks throwing. Billy, come on now. I mean, you got a history yourself. So Phyllis happens to come along because she wants to talk business with Billy. Jack was like, this is my cue to leave. I'm about to head out. That'll leave Phyllis to discuss how she wanted to accept Lily's offer for the Grand Phoenix. Now, Billy gets updates on Phyllis by her telling him that she'll be working at Marchetti. And with Diane is the other caveat. And we'll suspect that she got some kind of nefarious plan to hurt her rival. And Phyllis, of course, is lying as usual. But Billy remains convinced that there's a scheme and, fears that Summer will become collateral damage, which she absolutely will because it's her daughter's company. Now, although Phyllis will insist that Summer won't be anywhere near the line of fire, Billy is still uneasy and not convinced of it. And then there's the conversation that comes up about Adam potentially taking over Kyle's co-CEO spot, which obviously adds drama. Phyllis is pissed off about how can Jack forgive Adam, and I'm at the bottom and he can't forgive me. Yeah. Well, your stuff is kind of fresh, Phyllis. You know what you've done. You try to use him to stick it to Diane and it blew up in your face. So you got to take the L for that one. It is what it is. So she gets a phone call from Nikki, and Nikki is telling her to come over to the ranch. And the thing is that Ashley is missing in action because of the fact that she's out of town on business. Now, Nikki wants the details of Phyllis's sabotage plot and will confess that the reason why I want these details because I don't trust you. And mostly because Phyllis might back down, of course, at the last minute to protect Summer. Now, Phyllis understands that, getting Diana out of town is what's best and will take, anything that comes along with that. But she clearly is stating that, my daughter is not going to be a part of that. Until Nikki is actually contributing something to this alliance, Phyllis says that she should keep her opinions to herself. And this is when we see Kyle and Summer actually realizing that they have to keep the peace if Diane and Phyllis don't keep their word. Yeah, this is going to blow up in their face, and they knew better. They saw the writing on the wall. We're back over at Crimson Lights. Jack spots Diane and admits that he's glad that he ran into her. Jack points out, about the books that she gave him on grief and loss, that they're really helping Harrison. And he thanks Diane for the very thoughtful gift. That'll leave Diane looking pleased over the progress that she's making with Jack. And I'm like, she's wearing him down. She's definitely wearing him down. And then that finally left us back at Society again, where Abby catches up with Devon and admits that she fears that Chance is keeping something from her about the Ashland investigation, since she assumes it has something to do with her family and how they're involved. And we all know that's the truth. And there you have it. That is our recap for The Young and the Restless for August 10th, 2022. Stay tuned for the Bold and the Beautiful recap for August 10th as well on this channel. And until then, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel to receive all updates. And please don't forget to like and share. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.